Hey everyone, Zoroth here, and welcome back to the Valheim boss guides. Spoiler alert, if you do not want to know anything about the boss and you want to face him by yourself and learn the things by yourself, please do not continue watching this video. So Bonemass is basically a giant slime, so therefore it has the same strengths, weaknesses as a normal slime that you'll see in the swamp areas. A major theme within the swamp area is poison. So leeches and slimes both do poison damage to you, which creates a lingering debuff that does a ridiculous amount of damage, potentially killing you. As Bonemass is a large slime, it also of course does poison damage. So in order to fight Bonemass, the most important item that you're probably going to need is the poison resistance meat. This item gives you a damage modifier of very resistant to poison, and it is absolutely necessary if you are planning to fight the boss. In order to craft this, you're going to be requiring a few different ingredients. First of all, you're going to need a cauldron. In the cauldron, you're going to have to create a poison resistance meat base. In this case, it will cost you 10 honey, 5 thistle, 1 necktail, and 10 coal. Once you created the meat base, put it inside a fermenter. After about a day or two, you'll have the poison resistance meat available for use. The clue to summoning Bonemass can be quite complicated. We've tried a variety of ingredients and found out that the actual ingredient you're going to need is withered bone. Withered bone can generally be found by mining within the sunken crypts you'll find throughout the swamp areas. In order to enter the sunken crypts, you'll need the swamp key that you get from killing the Elder, the second boss within Valheim. Once you have 10 bones, you're ready to summon Bonemass and you can start the fight phase. As previously mentioned, Bonemass is similar to a slime. Therefore, blunt attacks, which generally can be caused by maces and other similar weapons, are the best weapons to use against Bonemass. Although you can still use bow and arrows, which is generally what I use in most of my guides in order to fight Bonemass, it is not actually advisable because you do very little damage, and therefore it will become a very long, very grueling, and very tiring battle that you really don't want to be part of. Therefore, my best recommendation is to use a mace. In this case, I was only using a bronze mace fighting with a friend, and I was already doing a quite hefty amount of damage. So therefore, if you have a fully upgraded bronze mace, I believe the fight should still be doable. Obviously, if by this time you already have a iron mace, that would of course be better. Now we're going to be moving on towards Bonemass's attack types and things you need to watch out for. Similar to other bosses, Bonemass has 3 attacks. The first attack is a very basic attack where he just swings an arm and hits you within melee range. This attack still does poison damage though, so you have to be careful of that. The second attack that Bonemass does is a lob attack where he lobs a small goo filled with poison towards you. This attack is incredibly easy to dodge as the blob is extremely slow. There is also a clear wind-up animation before Bonemass starts throwing the blob at you, so it should be easily dodgeable as long as you're not stuck somewhere or you're standing still. The last attack is probably the most dangerous attack considering that we're going to be fighting Bonemass within melee range. The third attack is a puke attack where he starts puking into the surrounding areas. In game terms, this means that Bonemass will be releasing a large AoE poison cloud around the boss. If you stand in it, you will be poisoned. There are not many useful tips that I can give you regarding fighting Bonemass, but there are a few important things to take note of. The first tip is that Bonemass's third attack, his poison cloud ability, actually has similar if not the same effects as the cloud that usually surrounds the boss in general. The cloud that surrounds the boss is actually not poisonous, but the poison cloud will be. So therefore, it might be hard for you to distinguish when the cloud dissipates and when it's okay to go fight the boss again within melee range. My advice is to constantly kite the boss around, such that the boss has to clearly leave the poison circle in order to start fighting you again. This way, you won't be at risk to eating the poison cloud. The second tip is to make sure that you constantly have a good food supply and also a well-rested buff before engaging the boss. Bonemass is located within the swamp area, and in the swamp area it's always raining, which means that you will always be getting the wet debuff. The wet debuff reduces the health and stamina regen of your character, which makes long fights extremely difficult as you will constantly try to have to regen your stamina. Therefore, it is important that you have the well-rested buff and good food in order for you to maximize the amount of health, stamina, and regeneration that you have when fighting the Bonemass. And that's it. That's how you defeat Bonemass. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, I would really appreciate if you leave a like on the video. And if you're looking for more shorts, content, and guides regarding RPG games, do consider subscribing to the channel. And if this guide was helpful to you in beating Bonemass, let me know in the comments down below, and I would really look forward to seeing if you have any other tactics that you might have that would be useful against Bonemass. Leave a comment down below as well so you can share it with other people as well. And anyways, thank you so much, and I will see you again next time.